Let me paint a little picture for you. You walk into work, you look to your left, and the admin just won't lock eyes with you. So what do? You walk to the right. You walk into the break room. I'll grab a donut real quick. Well, there's two people in there, and nobody's talking. Well, an hour later, you sit down at the team meeting, and it's just kind of quiet as everybody's looking at their phones. What happened to our team? We used to laugh a ton and all get along, but for some reason, we can't seem to move past the conflict that we got into last week. Well, good morning, everybody. Thomas Joyner with Business on Purpose here. Excited you're here. Excited you're joining me this morning. Does that scenario sound familiar at all? Okay, maybe it's a bit dramatic, right? Maybe that's not exactly how it looks. Maybe everybody's not just avoiding each other's stares, but I don't think I'm that far off. So are there situations that are kind of off limits to talk about? Maybe jokes that are a bit too close to home, and when they're made, everybody just kind of awkwardly laughs. Maybe there's that suggestion at the team meeting for the boss, and you start to see this steam starting to trickle out of his ears, and I don't know what it looks like in your business, but I know one of the constants in every business is conflict. So how do we deal with conflict if and when it comes up? You know, most people kind of do one of three things. They ignore it, they take it on too directly, and they run over everybody in their path, or they take it on just enough to make it go away in the moment, but they never fully deal with it. I've actually seen this a handful of times recently with businesses I'm working with. There's always that one person the owner kind of is talking about, and they say, oh, well, I can't say that to them. And my response is always, why not? You know, and we go back and forth for a bit, but it almost always comes back to conflict. That there was a conflict that was ignored and it was never dealt with. And it's created this kind of no-fly zone, right? That everyone steers clear of and has to walk on eggshells around. Or maybe you're on the opposite end of the spectrum. Maybe you take it on too aggressively. Maybe you as a boss or a supervisor or just an employee, you shut it down immediately. You raise your voice. You humiliate that person in front of the team, proving that you're this alpha and they are not. But what'd you do in that situation? Well, you lost all chance of them ever wanting to follow your leadership willingly again. You bred discontentment and resentment in the workspace and a culture of shame. That's not what we're going for here. You see, when conflict happens, and inevitably it does, most of us react, right? We jump in, we move past it, or we move in too quickly. And we have this knee-jerk reaction based in emotion that normally or typically we regret later on. And we realize that it was in no way productive for our team or our business. Instead, we should focus on responding, right? Surveying the issue at hand in the conflict, analyzing the best response, keeping emotion at bay and kind of just settle down and simmering and dealing with it in this kind of level-headed manner. This react versus respond battle, it's just waging war in our country right now. I mean, typically something happens and everybody jumps in on one side or the other of an issue before really taking the facts into hand, right? They react, and whoever shouts the loudest gets hurt. But what our business needs most is time spent responding thoughtfully to whatever happens. There's this great, amazing verse in the book of James in the Bible, and it says this. It says, everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Now, I don't know about you, but how many of you, if somebody asked your friends or your coworkers about you, think that those words would be used to describe you? I'd wager not many of us. You see, not so often we're the exact opposite. We're caught in this reaction mode of never truly listening because we're too busy thinking about what am I going to say, our rebuttal, or thinking about how we're going to respond, so we never hear the other side's thoughts to be able to empathize and really, truly respond to the situation at hand. Slow to speak? Come on, Thomas, I have things to say. I'm the boss. I've earned that right. Well, yes, that's partly true. You've earned the right to respond in a healthy way that builds your team up, not to just berate and belittle out of emotion and move forward. Slow to become angry? Well, you don't know what they did. You just don't get it. You don't know what their mistake cost me. And while that's true, I don't know all that your employees mess up and cost you, but I do know that our businesses are made up of people that represent families, and they deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. Quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to become angry. Man, I can't help but think if we adopted those words right here, right now, that our businesses would culturally change almost overnight. And here's something I get really often, especially with the popularity rising of things like the Enneagram or the DISC profile test. I'll hear people say, Thomas, I just can't help it. That's just the way I'm wired. I'm an 8. I'm a challenger, or I'm a D on the DISC profile. I'm just a driver. I'm direct. Look, being an 8 on the Enneagram or a D on the DISC does not give you permission to be a jerk. It just doesn't. Learn some self-control. Watch your employees and your coworkers' respect for you grow when they know that you can blow up and you have the right to blow up, but you choose to sit back, to survey, to respond, and to deal with the situation appropriately. Man, that is next level leadership right there. Or on the flip side, Thomas, you don't get it. I'm a 9 on the Enneagram. I'm just a peacemaker. I can't say that. I just don't have it in me. Well, a peacemaker doesn't mean you can shy away from leadership. It doesn't mean that you can shy away from hard conversations. It means that for the betterment of your team, sometimes you have to respond and have those hard conversations and not just internalize it and fall on your sword. It's what your team needs. So where's conflict crippling your team? Are you ignoring it and pretending it's not there? Are you going over the top and just steamrolling everyone? Or maybe you're just doing just enough, just pulling up the rug, sweeping it under there, saying a few little things and just hoping it goes away on its own. That's no way to lead. Are you someone who reacts or someone who takes their time, surveys the facts, and responds in a way that leads your team towards healthy conflict resolution? If there's one thing I can promise you guys, it's that conflict is coming. So choose to respond in the right way. And I promise you, the culture of your business will change for the positive, and the workplace will be an enjoyable place to come to every single day. Hey, thanks for listening today, guys. I hope you'll take a minute just to subscribe to our YouTube channel and our podcast. We've got 4 coaches adding content to that every single week now. So it is amazing stuff, and I hope you enjoy. Have a great weekend. Thanks.